Clyde.
Evening, Claude.
Good to be here by the wood stove.
Yes, it is. It's nice and warm on a cold, cold northeastern night.
Yeah. Reason we're here is to try to explain to the Flatlanders how to handle themselves in case of a New Hampshire blizzard.
Yes, and I might point out that this film, is sponsored by the Homeland Security Agency that wants to prevent Americans from getting frostbite or other trauma during a northeastern winter.
I find the best thing to do at the beginning of the season is to stock up.
What would you stock up on there, Claude?
Well, the basic thing I would stock up with is whiskey. You can't have too much whiskey to go through a New Hampshire winter.
Who would know that better than I?
True.
As you
True.
may know,
Yeah.
I am the director of the SNWS. That is the Strategic National Whiskey Stockpile.
Yeah. Good
It's
idea.
a stockpile that I keep down in the basement, and in case there's an interruption in the production of Canadian whiskey, like say Canada falls apart, I'm authorized to release some portion of the SNSW for the American consumption, especially those northeasters who are enduring a winter.
You know, I found that if you have whiskey and nothing else, if you're suffering from frostbite, rubbing whiskey on cold toes is a waste, but it's a good solution.
It is.
And if you're in the house and you have no heat, no better way to warm up than a few shots of whiskey.
Yeah, I'm with you, Claude. Now, if you think about it for a minute, heat in your house is a process of warming your body from the outside in. Whereas whiskey, when you put it in your stomach, creates a little campfire down there, and it produces heat in your body from the inside out. Now, which would you rather have? Which is more comforting?
True. And you know, if you are cold, if you drink enough whiskey, chances are you'll put you in a position where you don't realize it's cold or not.
And you don't care.
Right. Most people don't care. And
Yeah.
if by chance the lights go out, which happens a lot during a blizzard, and you're stumbling in the dark, okay, and you cut yourself, what do?
Well, put whiskey on it.
As
a matter of fact, one of the things that's really beneficial about whiskey is that it prevents infections. And you know this because if you've ever had a shot, they put a little alcohol on your arm before they give you the shot. Or if you cut yourself, they put some alcohol on it to kill the germs.
True.
Whereas if you, during the winter in New Hampshire, sustain a cut and you have been drinking a sufficient amount of whiskey, then you will not have the experience of having an infection from that cut because the alcohol will actually be in your blood. So the blood comes out of your finger, let's say that's where you cut it, and there's germs on there, it kills them.
Yep. Good point.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but if you're in dire needs and you can't get the wood stove started in the middle of an emergency, splash of whiskey on there and a match, boom, it'll go right away.
It's another use of the whiskey that we're talking about. However, it is a waste.
Terrible waste.
It's a shame.
But we're talking emergency here. We're talking, you know,
if there's a dire emergency.
No power. You're stuck in your cave, cabin, wherever. You can't get out because of the snowstorm, and there's no power. The best thing to do is light a candle and get your bottle.
Sometimes you need to take the candle down the basement where the Strategic National Stockpile is.
True.
In order to get a new bottle in case you run out.
Yeah.
And that brings me to another thing, which is I haven't heard one word of what you just said. Could you speak up a little louder, Claude?